talk about my strategy for reading and annotating music when I'm learning a new song for the first time. So for this example, I'm going to be using a copy of Teenage Dream by Katy Perry. You can see who was transcribed by over here. This is a free copy online. I believe I found this on YouTube last year, but I may be wrong. It may be on Music Notes. But yeah, this is a free sheet music cover to download. So typically when I'm sitting down for a song the first time, assuming I'm on good behavior and actually doing everything I should be doing, which I would encourage, I typically go through and sort of dissect the entire song as a whole, learn the narrative of the song, and analyze different parts. For example, I analyze for clef changes, time signature changes, dynamic changes. I go and make finger assignments and write those down. Any tricky parts, I'll put a little exclamation mark around or underline or circle certain things or write out the specific notes or specific chords that I have to play, things like that. So I'm going to walk through this kind of as a demonstration. So obviously I make my first initial observations. There's no tempo written for this song, and I forget it off the top of my head, but that would typically be around there. On the songs that I make covers of, I usually put it there. We have our starting bass, clef, and treble, so nothing crazy there. Our key signature and our time signature and our first bit of dynamics are all listed in the front, as they should be. If you don't know what any of those are, please refer to my first video on how to read sheet music. I posted a couple months ago, and it's a two-part series, and they are a little bit lengthy, but they pretty much give you everything you would need to know if you're starting out learning piano, how to analyze and read sheet music, and learn how to play notes. So let's get started. So we'll see measure 3 here. You'll see this 2 that I've written. See, these are actually some older annotations that I have. And typically when I'm doing finger assignments, I usually just write the first note of the first measure, because I'm to the point where I'm able to assume the rest of the notes, what finger I'm going to use to play. In this case, we have a G, B flat, a G, a B flat, a G, and an F. So I already know the lowest note I'm going to want my first finger on, so I'm just going to start on 2 for the G, the B flat's going to be a 4, those are going to repeat, and then 1 for the F. And one other quick note is that I'm using online sheet music on Adobe Acrobat. If you're using written sheet music in person, I would just recommend using pencil to start. If you know you're going to have to make a lot of corrections, because pen obviously you can't erase, you'd have to scribble it out, and things can get messy really quickly. I know that from experience, and I know I'm not the only one that's done that. So I would definitely recommend using pencil on physical sheet music. So you'll see this repeated sometimes, and typically for the right hand, I'm going to write it above, and for the left hand,